Hey y'all. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it because I have an anime that I just watched, and before y'all get on me, okay. I had heard about this anime before plenty times, but then my homegirl was like drilling it, like, you need to watch it, you need to watch it, you need to watch it. And the anime I'm talking about is Vinland Saga. So today we're gonna talk about Vinland Saga. I've only watched the first season, so this is gonna be like a season one overall, like how I feel about it. So if you've never seen it before, this is not the video for you unless you don't care about spoilers and you just want to hear me talk. So we're gonna get right on into it. So I had no expectations going into Vinland Saga at first. And the first time I tried to watch it, after my homegirl was like ranting and raving about it, I was like, I don't know. I don't know. But then I was like, okay, let me pick this back up because the way she talks about it, I was like, okay, there's no reason that she about to send me off about an anime. Y'all, season one was a masterpiece. Season one was masterful. The storytelling was amazing. The progression that they did was amazing. I truly love Vinland Saga. And before I see y'all doing it. I see you doing it. Stop. I see you doing it. Before you get in the comments and start typing, I didn't like season two. Season two was boring. Da 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 da. This is gonna be a whole other video like topic, but it just makes me wonder, what kind of anime do you like? Because if you're there for the action, which, not to say that there wasn't a lot of action in Vinland Saga, because there actually, there was in the first season, but it's like, what do you really look for when you watch an anime? Because to me, I didn't really care about the battles like that, for real, y'all, if I'm being so honest. But the battles were nice. It just added to the detail of the story. And I often wonder, like, what do people look for when they're watching anime? Because when people say stuff like, oh, it was boring, and, I haven't seen any spoilers. Nobody has spoiled it for me. But one person in particular on Facebook, he specifically said in the comments when I said, like, I love this anime, he was like, season two lost me because I really watch anime for the action. I'm not really here for all the, storytelling and the detail. But for me, if the detail isn't there, I'm not gonna watch it personally. Like, the fights are okay, and that's coming from a girl that loves shonen. Like, I love a good shonen. I love a good fight. Knock that building over. However, if I feel as though the action is there and there's like no story, then it's just like, you're gonna lose me. And I haven't started season two yet because I want to get this video out. But I just want to say, I feel like, especially like the last 5-ish episodes of season one, it was very much like mostly storytelling. Like, everything just really added to the story. So we're gonna start off with some character breakdowns and like how I feel about these certain specific characters, and then I'm gonna talk about like certain things and certain like plot points, like overall, like with how I felt about the anime. So I'm gonna get this out the way. I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I don't know, there might be people that feel the same way that I do. There might be people that feel the opposite way. Askeladd was the best written character in Vinland Saga. I don't care what anybody says. From start to finish, Askeladd was absolutely so well written. And of course, at first, because y'all, if y'all know me, if y'all not new here, then y'all know. But if you're new here, I am a simp for my 2D men. Matter of fact, I'm actually gonna do like a grading scale of my 2D husbands. But let me tell you, my heart, my heart, when Askeladd killed Thor's, when he had him killed, when he had his man ambush him, and he was like, take my head back to the village. Y'all, my heart, because that was a good man. And so automatically I'm just like Thorfinn. I'm like, how'd you kill Thor? And everybody's just like, oh my God, he really, like, they killed Thors. And I know that he was only in a couple episodes. Like, we know that he was not in that many episodes. But it's like, you could already tell what type of person he was just from the first episode, the way that people talk about him. Like, you knew what kind of man Thors was. And as the show kept progressing, and even with the flashbacks and everything with him, you saw the kind of character that Thors was. So for Askeladd to do him like that, I was just like, oh my God, in front of his son. And you did that in front of his son. Like, forget his men that were there. You did that in front of his son. And of course, I don't blame Thorfinn for, you know, flipping the script and acting the way that he did. Like, I'm gonna off you, I'm gonna unalive you. I don't blame him at all, because I definitely had a deep hatred for Askeladd, because I'm like, you're supposed to be a warrior. Like, why would you do that to him? But as things kept progressing, his story, his backstory, the way he thought about things, it was just so beautiful. And I feel like his ending, which I'm not going to talk about his ending too much like here. I'm going to talk about it more with Thorfinn. And when I bring him up in a second, you'll see why. But his ending, especially what he had told Thorfinn before, just made so much sense. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But Askeladd, hands down, was the best written character in season 1 of Vinland Saga to me personally, because I went from like hating this character to not necessarily liking him, but definitely understanding him and why he did everything he did and why he moves the way he moves. And by the end of it, I completely understood, or not even by the end of it, before the end of it, but it's like, I understood why he took Thors out the way that he did. Like, everything that he did, I just completely understood it. Even if I didn't necessarily agree with it, I understood it. And the way he was able to read people, the way that he was able to, especially when it came to Prince Canute. Wait till we get to him. But he could read people no matter what. Even when people tried to like mask themselves, Askeladd knew how to read people. And therefore, to me personally, Askeladd was the best written character within the series. You're never going to change my mind about that. So let's talk about Thorfinn, okay? I don't know how many of y'all are gonna feel. I don't know. Yup. Don't jump me. Please don't jump me. Don't jump me. Don't jump me. But I'm pretty indifferent about Thorfinn. When it comes to Thorfinn, I'm pretty indifferent. And the reason that I say that is because I'm gonna root for him, like, as the underdog. As a kid, like, I'm going to root for him because he was super young when he saw his father get killed. And it's like, he's basically a child trying to, you know, navigate through life. And not only that, but he's also wanting to kill the man that he wants to unalive, the man that unalived his father. So it's like, I get him. But then I started to kind of feel a kind of way about him, because it's like, yeah, I get that he's a kid, but how many times is Askeladd going to teach you the same lesson before you eventually get what he's like teaching you? This man is literally giving you the formula to take him out, and you're not. It's like you're not reading the formula. You're not reading the recipe. You're not really taking it in. And so when Prince Canute killed Askeladd instead of Thorfinn, that was just like a whole other thing for him. And you could obviously see, like, he was just completely torn up about it. And honestly, if Canute would have let him, he probably would have let Thorfinn kill him, because he got his target pretty much like this. Because at that point, he had been trying to get at him for like, what, 11 years. 11 years. Like, I knew it had been a minute, but when Askeladd was like, boy, you've been trying to kill me for all these years. You have been trying to get at me all these years, and yet you never made it happen. What is it? Like, at this point, I'm tired of playing this game with you. And I feel as though, had they been able to have their one again, had they been able to have like their one, I think Askeladd would have Thorfinn. I truly think that he would have, because at that point, that man was just tired. Once he told the story about like his father and how long it took him to unalive his dad, I knew right then and there. I was like, 2 years. But then again, this is Askeladd we talking about. Like, that man, he can wake up with a plan. That is the man with a plan for everything. So that didn't surprise me that he was basically a child prodigy. That did not surprise me about him, because even in his older age, like the older he got, the better he got. So I wasn't shocked by that. I do feel bad for him in the sense of, he basically wasted his life at this point in time. He's wasted more than double his life trying to unalive a man who he didn't even get a chance to get. You didn't get a chance to get this man. He has given you nothing but ample time to do whatever. And just like he always said, you let your emotions get the best of you. But you can best anybody else. Like, the way he went up against Thorkel in the Battle of London, you can do that to a Viking, but you can't do anything to Askeladd. And it's just like, a part of me too was also kind of wondering, like, and mind you too guys, I haven't read the manga yet, but I do want to read the manga, so that's definitely going to be on my list. But it was awfully strange how he was able to talk to him and, you know, still like come on top when it came to Thorkel. But you couldn't do that with Askeladd. And it's like, was there maybe like something to where eventually like he kind of saw him, like even if he didn't say it, maybe like he saw him as some type of like figure to like help him with something, or like not necessarily like a parental figure, but like maybe even like in a sense like a mentor, because even when he was trying to defeat Thorkel the next time after they had seen them when they were fighting in the snow, he's like, look, just listen to me, do what I tell you to do, and you're gonna come out on top. So it's like, I could definitely see if in his mind, you know, subconsciously he kind of saw him as a mentor. But I'm very indifferent about Thorfinn, and I do not feel bad that he did not get his one, because you had ample time. You literally had 11 years to get your one with Askeladd. And it's like, I don't know. Y'all might talk about me, but I don't feel bad for it. I don't feel bad for Thorfinn with not getting his one. I just don't. We have to talk about the prince. We have to talk about Prince Canute. This boy went from non-verbal to bow to me and do as I say by the end of the season. And let me tell you something. Was I happy for him? Yes. But on the other end of it, Askeladd was right about him. The boy is gullible. He's gonna believe anything and whatnot. And to me, he just did not make the best decisions of who to have in his corner at the moment, because it's like, you literally played perfectly into Askeladd's hands. And at first I was thinking, I was like, no, Knute's not going to do that, because Knute's going to listen to Ragnar, RIP to him. And even, that's another thing. There's no way that you're going to unalive the man who is essentially like a father figure to me. You're not going to unalive this man that I have this connection with, that has been here with me through everything. You're not going to unalive him, and then your punishment is to serve me? That's where Canute lost me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's where Canute lost me. Because if you tell me that you didn't kill Ragnar, like my right hand man, I'm not. We have nothing to talk about. I just. Cause what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, that just threw me for an entire loop. And it was just so crazy, like how he was just ready to listen to everything that Askeladd had to say. And I'm just like, this man literally unalived your, but whatever. Am I a fan of Prince Canute? Not necessarily. I really did not care for Canute. Thorkel. So I wasn't too surprised to learn that Thorkel was related to Thorfinn. Well, technically Thor's and Thorfinn. I wasn't too surprised to find out that they were related, but I was indeed a little surprised at how they were related, because I thought he was going to say something like, oh, you know, Thor's was like his cousin, or maybe even like a brother in arms kind of thing. I was not expecting him to say that that was his grandfather's brother. I was not prepared for that. When I first saw Thorkel, I was like, oh, he's definitely giving like Viking Goku. I was a little too, I hit the nail on the head a little too much with that, because the way that that man loves fighting. Let me tell you, Thorkel, he was okay to me, but the thing about him that was weird to me was, okay, so if y'all have seen Vinland Saga, y'all remember when he went and he was going through the snow because he saw Askeladd's men, and he was like, well, we're about to, you know, unalive all of them. At this point, had wanted to basically switch sides, because they were like, you know, you got us treading through snow, and we don't have any food. You're basically telling him like, your luck's ran out, kiddo. And he's like, they're like, we're gonna switch sides, we're gonna go join Thorkel, blah 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 blah. Thorkel's like, I don't want none of y'all traitors on my side. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't he go and fight with the people in London because he said that he wanted more of a fight? I was just like, wait a minute, but didn't you? Whatever. Thorkel was only loyal to a good fight. That's really all I have to say about him. Thorkel was loyal to a good fight. And if he wasn't going to get that fight, then you were going to suffer for it. And the fact that his best fight to him at that time, since Thor's was Thorfinn, is crazy. Let's talk about Bjorn. If I'm being so real, that was hands down the only person that was loyal to Askeladd. And I feel like the way that he went out was definitely the way that he wanted to go out. He wanted Askeladd to do it, and that's exactly what happened. And I think that Bjorn was I think that his character was very significant in the sense of is that there's always going to be that one person that Askeladd can rely on. There's always going to be that one person in his corner. And it's like after that person wasn't there anymore, that's when things, at least to me, starts to get a little rocky, because then I'm like, Askeladd, I don't know. And then it's like, I feel like Bjorn was also kind of there to like keep him alive, because once Bjorn wasn't there anymore, and the way that he completely tweaked out, you know, when he unalived the king, I feel like if Bjorn was there, that wouldn't have happened, personally. I feel like Bjorn was definitely a good balance for him. And had he been there when Askeladd started tweaking, when the king was talking about his mom being a slave and not being this, that, and the third, Bjorn would have stepped in and been like, yo, cut it. We're not doing this. So I definitely feel like Bjorn not being there anymore was definitely a part of Askeladd's downfall. You know, I don't really have too much to say about Floki. I was very indifferent about Floki. I really feel like he's kind of like that character who was definitely all about self-preservation. And no matter what, I think that he was really just only loyal to whatever was going to work best for him. So I don't know. Truth be told, I really don't have any type of feelings towards Floki. Floki was just kind of there, if I'm being honest and if I'm being real. But overall, I love Vinland Saga. The story, like I said, the storytelling was amazing. The pacing was great. There was just so much that was happening, and I feel like the story was very, very impactful to whoever was watching it. And seeing how things are not always like what they seem, because on the surface level it's like, why is Askeladd keeping this kid around who, if he unalived his dad? But it's like, in reality, he was teaching the kid a lesson, especially after we learned that Askeladd unalived his own father and, you know, basically was trying to secure himself within his father's wealth. I was just like, okay, that, like, it was just so much that made sense about him. When he tweaked out and he's just like, you know, I hate the Danish, I hate you, and blah, 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 because he's half Danish, half Welsh. Yes, half Danish, half Welsh. And it was just so crazy because it's like, how is it that you have fought with these men for so long, but then it's like, that's just the tactician that Askeladd is. Because I heard that this next season is definitely slower paced. Like I said, I haven't seen any spoilers, I haven't read anything, none of that. But I feel like we're gonna see a side of Thorfinn where he is now doing a lot of self-reflect, because you basically spent your entire childhood unaliving people. You spent your entire childhood chasing vengeance and unaliving people. And I feel like since his dad's not around, Askeladd isn't around, he's not home, he's not with his mom, he's not with his sister, it's going to be so different for him. And so it's like, I don't know, part of me kind of feels like he's gonna go back home. I'm not sure yet, but I feel like now he's probably just gonna live like more of a quiet life and spend some time doing a lot of self-reflecting. And even if that is what he does, I'm not gonna be mad about it, because I feel like when what you're wanting, especially in his case, like what you were wanting and what you were chasing is no longer obtainable, it's like, what do? And then you start to kind of like sit with these thoughts of regret, like, dang, like I really did all that. Like I did all this as a child. And, you know, like I said, I just think that he's just going to have a lot of self-reflecting to do. I think that he's going to definitely change as a person, and I think that maybe he's going to start to adapt and become more of the man that his father was, because of the way that he looked up to his father. But that is it for this video. This was really fun. I cannot wait to watch season 2 and come back and let you guys know how I felt about season 2. I am super excited, super ecstatic about it, and I can't wait. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.